Hello all and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another video about the 2022-2023 college football season. Before I get to the material for this video, please do me a favor, like this video, leave a comment below, share it with anyone you think would enjoy it, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notifications bell so that you will be alerted when new videos drop on my channel. Alright, so yesterday, the Associated Press released their preseason top 25 rankings for this upcoming college football season. And what I'm going to do in this video is go through them from 25 to 1 with a little bit of information about each team. And once I'm done revealing all of the rankings, I'm going to talk about a couple of surprises, things that I was a bit shocked by when I read through for the first time the top 25 ranking. But without further ado, let's get to it. And we're going to start with the number 25 team in the nation, and that's the BYU Cougars. Last season, BYU finished the season 10-3. They were ranked 19th in the final AP poll. They lost the Independence Bowl in the postseason 31-28 to the University of Alabama Birmingham. For the 2022 recruiting cycle, BYU is ranked 55th overall according to 24/7 Sports, which ranks them second among the independent schools. They've got 2 4-star and 21 3-star recruits added to their roster. Number 24 is the Houston Cougars. Last year, Houston finished 12-2, and they were ranked 17th in the final poll. They won the Birmingham Bowl 17-13 against perennial SEC powerhouse Auburn. In terms of recruiting, Houston ranks 50th overall this season, second in the American Athletic Conference, with 1 4-star and 16 3-star recruits added to their team. Number 23 in the rankings is Houston's American Athletic Conference rival, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cincinnati last season had a phenomenal year. They finished 13-1. They finished ranked 4th in the final poll. They made it to the college football playoff, where they lost in the semifinal game to the Alabama Crimson Tide 27-6. In terms of recruiting this year, Cincinnati ranks 42nd overall, first in the American Athletic Conference, right above the Houston Cougars, with 3 4-star and 16 3-star recruits added to their team. Number 22, takes us to ACC country for the first time with the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Last year, Wake Forest finished 11-3 and ranked 15th in the nation. They won the Gator Bowl 38-10 against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. In terms of recruiting for this season, Wake Forest ranked 71st overall, 13th in the ACC, which is second to last, not real great, with 2 4-star and 11 3-star kids added to their team. The number 21 team in the nation is the Ole Miss Running Rebels. In 2021, Ole Miss finished with a 10-3 record, and they were ranked 11th in the nation in the final AP poll. They lost the Sugar Bowl in the postseason 21-7 to Baylor. Recruiting this year has been good for Ole Miss. They ranked 27th overall, 12th though in the SEC. They're already playing in a tough conference, and if they can't recruit better within their own conference, that's not going to spell good tidings for Lane Kiffin's squad. They've got 6 new 4-star recruits and 11 new 3-star recruits that will be trying to make a difference for that squad this year. For the number 20 team in the nation, we're sticking with the SEC. This time, we've got the Kentucky Wildcats. Last year's campaign saw Kentucky finish with a 10-3 record and being ranked 18th in the final AP poll. They won the Citrus Bowl 20-17 against the Iowa Hawkeyes. For recruiting this year, Kentucky is coming in at a strong and somewhat surprising 14th overall in the nation, 5th best in the SEC, with 11 4-star and 9 3-star kids being added to Mark Stoops' squad. For the number 19 team in the nation, we're staying in the SEC again. This time, the Arkansas Razorbacks pop up on the list. Last year, Arkansas finished with a 9-4 record, and they were ranked 21st in the last AP poll. They won the Outback Bowl against Penn State 24-10. In terms of recruiting, Arkansas is ranked 28th overall, 13th in the SEC, which isn't real good in conference, but they've got 7 new 4-star and 12 new 3-star kids that will hopefully be trying to make the team and make a difference. Number 18 brings us our first Big Ten team in the Wisconsin Badgers. Last year, Wisconsin finished 9-4 on the season. They were not ranked in the last AP poll, and they won the Las Vegas Bowl 20-13 against Arizona State. They were ranked 44th overall in terms of recruitment for the season, 11th in the Big Ten, with 2 4-star recruits and 13 3-star recruits being added to the roster. Number 17 takes us to the Pitt Panthers. Last year, Pitt finished 11-3 with an ACC championship title, and they finished ranked 13th overall in the final AP poll, but they lost to Peach Bowl 31-21 to my Michigan State Spartans. In terms of recruitment this year, not great for Pitt. They're ranked 76th overall, 14th in conference, which I think leads them to being dead last. Not real great recruiting, with 1 4-star and 10 3-star kids added to the team. Number 16 brings us to the shores of South Beach and the Miami Hurricanes. Last year, Miami was ranked 7-5, or they finished the season, 7-5, and they were not ranked in the final AP poll. In terms of recruiting this year, though, new head coach Mario Cristobal has already made a splash as Miami comes in ranked 16th in the nation in recruiting class, 3rd in the ACC. 10 4-star recruits and 4 3-star recruits have been added to that Hurricanes roster. The number 15 school in the nation are my Michigan State Spartans. Last year, Sparty finished 11-2 on the year and ranked 9th in the final AP poll. They won the Peach Bowl against Pitt, 31-21. This year for recruiting, Mel Tucker's squad is ranked 23rd overall. That's good enough for 4th in the Big Ten Conference, with 6 4-star and 17 3-star players being added. The number 14 team in the nation takes us out west into Pac-12 country, and that's the USC Trojans. Last year, USC finished the season 4-8, and they were not ranked in the final AP poll. In terms of recruiting this year, USC is not great. Lincoln Riley's not off to a great start. They're ranked 70th overall, 10th in the Pac-12 Conference. 1 5-star, 4 4-star, and 3 3-star recruits have been added. Number 13 takes us back across the country into ACC territory with the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Last year, NC State finished 9-3, and they were ranked 20th in the final AP poll. In terms of recruiting, they're 64th overall this year, 10th in the ACC. 4 4-star and 8 3-star recruits have been added to Dave Doran's squad. Number 12 takes us to Big 12 country and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Last season, Oklahoma State finished 12-2. They were ranked 7th in the nation in the final AP poll, and they beat Notre Dame 37-35 in the Fiesta Bowl in the postseason. In terms of 2022 recruiting, the Cowboys are 29th overall, 3rd in the Big 12, with 6 4-star and 13 3-star kids being added. Number 11 takes us to the Pacific Northwest and the Oregon Ducks. Last season, Oregon finished 10-4, and they were ranked 22nd in the nation. They lost the Alamo Bowl in the postseason, 47-32 to the Oklahoma Sooners. Recruiting this year has been good for new head coach Dan Lanning, as Oregon finishes 13th overall, 1st in the Pac-12 Conference, with 1 5-star, 10 4-star, and 6 3-star recruits being added. Now we're into the top 10, and we begin with number 10, Baylor Bears. Last year, Baylor won the Big 12 championship with a 12-2 record and was finished ranked 5th in the final AP poll. They won the Sugar Bowl 21-7 against the Ole Miss Running Rebels. In terms of recruitment for this year, 37th overall is the ranking. That's good for 5th in the Big 12 Conference, with 3 4-star and 18 3-star kids being added. For number 9, we're going to stay in the Big 12, and we're going to go to the Oklahoma Sooners. Last year, they finished the season 11-2. They were ranked 10th in the nation, and they won the Alamo Bowl 47-32 over the Oregon Ducks. In terms of recruiting, they're coming in at a strong 8th in the nation, 2nd in the Big 12, with 18 4-star and 3 3-star recruits being added. The number 8 team in the nation is the Michigan Wolverines. Last year, Michigan won the Big Ten championship. They finished with a 12-2 record, and they lost the college football semifinal playoff game, the Orange Bowl, to the Georgia Bulldogs. In terms of recruiting this year, Jim Harbaugh's squad is coming in at a strong 9th overall, 3rd in the Big Ten. they've got 1 5-star, 9 4-star, and 12 3-star kids added to the squad. The number 7 team in the nation are the Utah Utes. Last season, they finished with a Pac-12 title, a 10-4 record, and a 12th overall ranking in the final AP poll. They lost the Rose Bowl in a barn burner of a game, 48-45 to Ohio State. For this year's recruiting class, they've got a 33rd overall ranking. That's good for 4th in conference, with 3 4-star and 16 3-star kids being added. Number 6 in the nation in the preseason poll are the Texas A&M Aggies. Last season, they finished 8-4, and they were not ranked in the final AP poll. In recruiting for this season, though, Jimbo Fisher's squad has done amazing. They've got a number 1 recruiting class overall, number 1 in the SEC, 8 5-star kids, which is 3 more than the next closest team. 20 4-star recruits and 2 3-star recruits have been added. Now we break into the top 5 with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Last year they finished 11-2 and they were ranked 8th in the nation in the final AP poll. They lost the Fiesta Bowl 37-35 to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. In terms of recruiting, they're coming in at a strong 7th overall. That's first among the independent schools. 1 5-star recruit, 17 4-star recruits, and 4 3-star recruits have been added. The number 4 team in the nation are the Clemson Tigers. Last year, Dabo Swinney's squad finished with a 10-3 record, and they were ranked 14th in the final AP poll. They won the Cheez-It Bowl 20-13 against the Iowa State Cyclones. They're 10th in recruiting this season. That gives them first ranking in the ACC Conference. 2 5-stars, 8 4-stars, and 10 3-stars have been added. Now we to the top 3. And the number 3 team in the nation is the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia won the national championship last season, so obviously they're ranked number 1 in the final AP poll from last season. They finished with a 14-1 record, and they beat Alabama 33-18 in the championship final. They're 3rd overall this season in recruitment, 3rd in the SEC Conference, with 5 5-stars, 17 4-star, and 8 3-star recruits being added. The number 2 team in the nation takes us north to Columbus and the Ohio State Buckeyes. They finished last season with an 11-2 record and a 6th ranking in the final AP poll, and they won the Rose Bowl 48-45 over the Utah Utes. They've got a 4th ranked recruiting class this season, 1st in the Big Ten Conference with 2 5-stars, 18 4-stars, and 1 3-star being added to Ryan Day's squad. That leaves the number 1 ranking for this season's preseason AP poll to, drum roll please, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Saban's squad finished 13-2 last season. They lost in the national championship game to the Georgia Bulldogs. They're 2nd overall in recruiting behind Texas A&M. They're 2nd in the SEC behind Texas A&M. They've added 3 5-star recruits, 21 4-star recruits, and 1 3-star recruit to their squad. That's the reveal. There are some surprises in this initial ranking. First and foremost, for me, Clemson being ranked number 4. A 10-3 record is good, but it's not Clemson standard. It's not up to the level they've set themselves at over the last few years. They won 6 games in a row at the end of last season. They've got a strong recruiting class, but I'm just not seeing a 4th place ranking. That's 10 spots higher than the final ranking from last season. I think that's a little too much. Either that or somebody knows something. The experts are paying more attention than I am to this, but this feels like a little bit of a too strong of a ranking for Clemson. I'm also a bit surprised by Notre Dame's 5th ranking. I think that despite the strong recruiting class, 7th overall, I think the loss of Brian Kelly is going to be much bigger and much more impactful on Notre Dame than these rankings seem to indicate. It doesn't seem to me like the pollsters are thinking that Notre Dame is going to suffer that much, at least not initially, from Brian Kelly departing for LSU. I think they are going to struggle under a new head coach, under a new quarterback. Ian Book's gone. I just don't see them holding on to a 5th place ranking for that long in the season. I have not looked at the upcoming schedules, but I would imagine they've got some games on their early schedule that might prove a bit problematic. I just think that this is too high of a ranking, and I think they're undervaluing what Brian Kelly brought to the table. I am also surprised by Michigan's ranking at number 8, which, despite the fact that I am a Sparty, I think this is too low. Michigan's coming off a strong beatdown of Ohio State last year, a strong performance in the Big Ten Championship game that won them the title. Yeah, they lost in the semifinal to Georgia, and it didn't look even close. But Georgia beat down everybody last year, including Alabama in the championship game. So I don't really think you can necessarily hold that too much against Michigan. They've got a strong recruiting class. It's 3rd in conference behind Ohio State and Penn State. I would have ranked Michigan ahead of Notre Dame and ahead of Clemson this season in this opening poll. I think this is a bit too low. I would have put them 6th, maybe even 5th. I think this is a bit too low for them. I'm also a bit surprised by Oklahoma's ranking at number 9. For the same reason I'm surprised by Notre Dame's ranking at number 5. Losing Lincoln Riley and your starting quarterback, Caleb Williams, and your backup quarterback, Spencer Rattler, to different teams. They've got a brand new coaching staff that they've pulled in, a new head coach in Brent Venables, a new offensive coordinator in Jeff Levy, which I covered in my coaching video from a couple of days ago. And now they've got to break in a new starting quarterback. Yes, they've got an 8th overall recruitment ranking, which bodes well. But still, new coaches coming in, new offensive system coming in, new quarterback that you got to break in. I just think that number 9 ranking is too high. I would have put Oklahoma down closer to like 13 or 14. Because I just don't think that it's going to be as easy as maybe some of these pollsters think it's going to be for Oklahoma to just seamlessly transition into the Brent Venable era. So I think that ranking surprised me a bit. Likewise, USC's 14 ranking surprised me. They finished 4-8 last season. 4-8. And they start this season ranked number 14. That's got to be a bump that they're getting from Lincoln Riley being their new coach and Caleb Williams being their new quarterback and Alex Grinch being their defensive coordinator. Which makes Oklahoma's ranking even more surprising to me, because if the pollsters are giving USC, who had a recruiting class that was 70th overall and 10th in conference, that ranking can't be because of their recruiting class. It's got to be the Lincoln Riley, Alex Grinch, Caleb Williams bump. But if they're giving USC such a bump for getting those guys, why are they not ranking Oklahoma lower for losing those guys? That's what doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to reward USC with this tremendously high ranking for a 4-8 team when they didn't have a great recruiting class, and they've got 2 new coaches, head and defensive coordinator, and a new starting quarterback to break in, why are you not lowering Oklahoma's ranking for having lost all those great guys? I don't get it. That is very surprising to me, their high ranking. In terms of my Michigan State Spartans, 15 I think is a little high. I would have put them down closer to 19 or 20, because I don't know if they've done enough to replace or to fix their defensive secondary woes that plagued them in the second half of last season. And they've got to do something to replace Kenneth Walker III, who's in the NFL now. And I haven't really paid a lot of attention to recruiting because I don't think it's a huge deal. It plays a role, I think, in the preseason rankings, which is why I looked into the recruiting this year. But I don't put a ton of stock in recruiting, but they had a good recruiting class this year. But, I mean, I don't know. I think the defensive woes and losing Kenneth Walker, who is a huge part of their offense, is going to be a big thing to overcome this year. I would have put Michigan State a little bit lower. I also would have ranked Pittsburgh a little bit lower because, yeah, they had a not great recruiting class. They lost their starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett. He's playing for the Steelers now. They lost their offensive coordinator. I talked about him, Mark Whipple, in my college coaching changes video. Go check that out on my YouTube channel. I just think that ranking is maybe a little bit high. Other than that, though, everything else looks fine to me. I mean, Cincinnati being ranked 23rd. The Cincinnati faithful are probably going, what the hell, we were ranked 3rd in the postseason last year. Well, yeah, but you lost some guys on your team. Desmond Ridder, your starting quarterback, he's in the NFL. Your 2 top defenders and your secondary, they're in the NFL now. 42nd overall recruiting class isn't bad for an American Athletic Conference team. But I think 23rd is probably appropriate. I don't envision Cincinnati having a 13-1 record this season and competing for the college football playoff. I just don't see that. Everything else I think looks fine. There wasn't anything else that surprised me. Nothing that really was making me go, what? Or making me get really angry. Everything here. Yeah, Alabama's ranked number 1 again. What else is new? Ohio State's ranked number 2. Georgia's ranked number 3. What else is new? I have to admit, I don't think I'm super surprised that Ohio State leapfrogged Georgia for a number 2 ranking, because Georgia did lose a ton of players to the NFL. They did lose their defensive coordinator. He's the head coach at Oregon now. They had a really good recruiting class, so it kind of makes sense, I think. Maybe that kind of bumped them down a little bit in the rankings in the minds of the pollsters. But that's it. We'll see what happens with these rankings when we get into the first couple of weeks of the college football season. If you like this video, please do me a favor and like it. And leave me a comment below. What do you think about these rankings? Is your team ranked where you think they should be? Are they too high? Are they too low? Are other teams that aren't your teams ranked too high, too low? Were there any surprises for you like there were for me? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell so you'll get alerted to when new videos pop up on my channel, which they will with regularity from now on, because we are less than 2 weeks away from the start of the 2022-2023 college football season. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all next time.